Hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. Got episode 3 today. Thanks for joining us on LinkedIn, all the different channels we're on, destinations. Hope everyone's having a good Wednesday. Get them going in here. So today, we got our third episode, 30 minutes for our AI for Business series. Hopefully my internet stays put. But over the last couple of weeks, we've been talking about kind of big picture AI, how it's revolutionizing industries. Ultimately, today, though, we want to kind of more come into with where you start and have a real actionable plan, a practical guide to adopting the AI that we're talking about. So excited to kind of get into it today. One of the questions, and really the number one question that I get, is not what is AI anymore, it's where to start, right? So it can feel a little bit overwhelming, all the tools and what have you out there. But really, today we're going to go over a practical roadmap and kind of implementing AI into your business, specifically for small and medium-sized businesses. So happy to have who's on here. Can't see it in the comments, but today I'm going to be joined by our Colorado partner, Chuck Acker, who's going to be helping us walk through some of the stages and things that he's seeing with his customers. So we will welcome him in. Chuck, give you a little applause. It might be a little slow on my end, but hopefully you can hear me okay. How you doing?
I'm doing good, brother. I can hear you. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, coming in loud and clear, my man. Hope you're
Awesome,
doing well.
awesome.
Well, for those that might not know you, Chuck, just wanted to give you a quick opportunity to introduce yourself, what you're all about, and then we can dive right in.
Absolutely. Well, as you can see, the gray, I've been around for a while. Uh, I've lived a lot of different lives. My first love, of course, has been coming into the world of radio. So I worked in radio for several years. That's my first love. And after that kind of went away, I delved into nonprofit work, and sort of giving back to the community became my passion. And just as a precursor on the tech side, I'm not a dev, a coder, an IT guy. I'm not that. But over the last 10 years, I've really delved in to sort of where the technology is going with blockchain technology over the last 10 years. Uh, Signed up for a scholarship at Kingsland University for a software as a service certificate while I've been working in nonprofit and doing ministry work. And it's just been, over the last 20, 25 years for me, connecting with missions and people and helping them grow. One of the things that I keep seeing over and over is, whether it's people, families, and or businesses, it wasn't that they weren't working hard. It was that things were getting lost in the noise, slipping through the cracks. So, I've always tried to surround myself around good people with a cause and a mission. And they all are doing their best. But, a lot of times we just don't have the right or a real engine running behind what we're doing. And we need real systems holding everything together. And so, as that being sort of something that drives me in helping and building community and supporting folks, this was a natural place for me after all these years to be able to do some of the same things that I'm passionate about.
Amen to that, Chuck. I think it fits right into the conversations we've been having with some of the other partners. Your background in helping these businesses, it's really about creating those systems that are going to help them, point them in the right direction, run things that, normally would manually be done, and help them scale like they'd be a larger company and not having to bring in more of the headcount that, again, normally would be applied to wanting to grow a business. So happy to have your experience in here and on the team. So what do you say? We get into it?
Absolutely, man. Let's do it.
Love it. Love it. So again, it's easy to kind of get distracted with all the AI tools out there. Everybody talking about AI automation. We preach it every day, right? So I just was curious, Chuck, why, from your perspective, we touched on this in a couple of our episodes previously, but from your standpoint, why is it a mistake for businesses to start using AI, buying software without a plan, essentially?
Yeah, it's interesting you say that because, they call it the shiny object syndrome, right? And I've done that myself. It's like downloading a bunch of apps on my phone thinking it's going to make my life easier, right? And then now my phone, it's all cluttered with a bunch of icons, and it hasn't done anything to make my life easier. It's made things a lot tougher. So for me, when I got into this space, it wasn't about the tech. It was about fixing the problem. And so helping business owners, stop feeling buried alive, or folks in business in different areas, feeling like, they're barely keeping their heads above water. We want to help them actually feel like, they can have some things running smooth. And AI and automation is definitely something that can help with that. And someone like me, I've got ADD. And so I need as much help as I can get. I've lived my whole life without some of the tools that some people get early on. And I got to tell you, before automation, for me, it felt like I was riding in a horse and carriage. And now I feel like I'm in a rocket ship, same effort, completely different results.
There you go. Yeah, man. Of all those apps, you get this just a wave of notifications, and you can't keep up with. It's the same kind of thing, like bringing in these shiny objects that you discussed or brought up. I think it really applies to the things that we talk about here, like just simplifying things, but ultimately streamlining those processes that are already being done, but just to make it more time efficient, cost efficient, you name it. So, yeah, no, excited to hear you say that, because again, that can be very applicable to a lot of these business owners that we work with. And I just like if we start with the problem, like how should business owners identify where AI can actually help? Where does that start from your standpoint?
Yeah, well, first I would just say, start paying attention to those cracks in your business, right? Because if you don't, you're going to be working harder, right? And if you're a small business owner, and I've met small business owners who have struggled with some of the stresses of keeping everything together and keeping folks employed and providing top-notch service and customer service. And, some of this frustration, I've seen business owners where they have grown resentful of their own business, right? And who wants that when you got into this because it was something that you love or passionate about? And so I'll keep it simple. Us business owners, we already know where these things break down. And so we just haven't slowed down to take a look at it. And so, there's something they call the 3Ds. And this is where you need to focus on the dull, the dirty, or the demanding, right? So you need to ask yourself, what are these repetitive tasks that you hate doing? Where is data being manually copied and pasted? Also, what takes up 60 to 80% of your time, but only produces 20% of your value? Just ask yourself, seriously, what do I keep doing over and over that I shouldn't have to?
Yeah.
And
That's
yeah,
pretty deep.
and sorry, and a lot of times, this usually happens around answering some of the same questions, right? And chasing down and connecting with numerous people, scheduling chaos, digging through messages and things like that.
Yeah, no, thanks for those examples, Chuck. I mean, it's something Jerry brought up last week too, like the cost and the value related to some of these things and these processes within the businesses that we speak with, like having that be aligned. It's hard to take a step back. People, a lot of these businesses have been running a certain way for a long time. It's really hard to see the possibilities when you can't really slow down and do something like, I know again we'll point to, but we'll share again on this channel the business audits that Dimitri was just putting in there for us. Make sure to put Chuck's in there as well. But that's an opportunity, we guys, you can visit our page and see and start the process of at least identifying those bottlenecks, the things that slow you down, those triple Ds, and they add into cost, right? We'll add it.
Here's and I just wanted to add on that, because we get busy. And so if you're a small business or you're a business owner, a lot of times we're doing all of these things I just mentioned, staying busy, but sometimes busy doing not much, right? Not realizing that there is a problem. Can you imagine, there's realtors out there, texting the same information 20 times a day. You don't have to do that. If you're answering the same pricing questions Stop it. If, if you're missing follow-ups in your inbox, you don't have to do that anymore. So where I'd start, I would start looking at what you repeat every day and fix that first. Otherwise, you'll stay busy.
Yeah. Well, you just kind of nailed it. I was just going to ask you what, like, let's give them some practical examples. Like, what are some of those? And you kind of just went through it. Like, what are some quick wins or low hanging fruit that you see, again, specifically for small to medium sized businesses, those folks that wear a lot of hats?
Right. The most simple and, the low hanging fruit, stop missing opportunities. If your phone rings, nobody answers. If someone reaches out and you're not responding in a quick time, that's business walking out the door, right? People don't wait anymore. When you're thinking about missed calls, that equals missed customers, right? We're talking about if you're getting contacts or folks reaching out to you after hours for inquiries, that's lost revenue. And if you're slow to respond, quite simply, your competition wins. So make sure your business responds fast every time, because if you don't, somebody else will.
Yeah. Move on to the next one. I know that's what I would do.
Right? What are you going to do as a
Instant
customer?
gratification. I'm calling
Right.
someone to do a service. They don't answer. I'm moving on to the next one, either on Google or wherever I'm looking. But yeah, no, that's a huge piece that I know I've seen as well. And even just booking appointments, like taking it a step further and answering frequently
Yeah.
asked questions or answering the phone simply, but having an AI that has the knowledge base that you would have, put
Right.
that input in, and they're able to book appointments too on the calendar, and it just runs from there. That's a simple application that that we'd love to show some people too. And I
Right.
know I
And
like
that's the
stuff.
thing. It's funny you mention that, because the biggest connection I think that folks are missing, with the fear of AI and all of that, is if we know that folks are worried about AI taking over and not being able to connect with humans, but we want AI to be humanistic. And so, first of all, you got to think of it as being human. If you're an HVAC guy or HVAC gal and you own a business, uh, you need to put yourself in the customer's shoes. I know for me, if my hot water heater goes out, I'm trying to get someone here as soon as possible in my house. So humanness is a big part of this, and we'll touch on that in a second as well, because I just think that's really important, because there is a lot of fear out there, but there's some workarounds around that, and there's information that folks need to know, that this thing is changing so fast, but we're going to have to change with it, and we have to be aware of some things.
Yeah, no, appreciate that, Chuck. I mean, it's still the amplification of what how we've operated in the past, right? It's coming in so fast and so quick. That's part of what we touched on in the beginning. It becomes very overwhelming, all this information and overload of having to use AI and automation, but just taking a breath and taking a step back, understanding your business and the processes. Again, that's why we always offer this business audit for free, is just to have you and the team go through how you work throughout the day. And that kind of leads to like my next question on this, is that, like, okay, we've talked about like answering calls and things that may be a little external. Like, what about like internal operations? How could a business leverage to kind of get through the workday faster, but but efficiently as well?
Yeah, the easiest thing to do, and this one really changed my world, and that's meeting notes. It's a great place to start internally. If you're meeting and you've got virtual calls, or you're in the boardroom and you've got the microphone and the speaker set up on the boardroom table, make sure all of that is going through someone's computer. No longer do we have to have someone in admin taking notes to be able to transcribe and get back to the team. Using AI meeting assistants to transcribe calls summarizes all the key points, and it automatically emails action items to the team. So this saves hours every week. And once again, for someone like me with ADD, this is just tremendous, because I know when I'm done with a call, and several minutes later, that I'm going to get in my email a summary and a breakdown of action points of things that not only I need to do, but everyone else on the team needs to do. which is so helpful.
Gets everyone on the same page, keeps it consistent. Have a recording as well,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that's just like rewatch it, re-rinse, like make sure that what you heard and what you think you heard after the fact, maybe hours, days after. That's another very simple application too. And like even social media, sorry, Chuck, what you
That's what I was going to jump into, because the first one that I just mentioned, folks, the meeting notes in the transcriber, the AI transcriber that you can add to your calls or your virtual calls, you can do that now without anyone. There's applications and platforms out there. There's one called Fathom. There's one called Fireflies. You just sign up. They have a free version. There's also a paid version. But I would say do that right now if you're not. But the other one that you mentioned, definitely, man, social media. And I use this internally with Scale Through Automation, and being able to help with content creation. Using AI will help draft your first version of emails, newsletters, and social media posts. And for me, I don't want AI just spitting out anything, and it may not sound like me, right? I obviously don't sound like the typical person on LinkedIn. I come from a different culture and background. And so I would rather that AI turn those into my voice, my tone, my vernacular, so that folks aren't thinking that I'm trying to be something that I'm not. It's so obvious right now that we see folks that are using AI in their posts. But the challenge now is being able, and this is that humanistic piece, right? Working with AI to the point where it knows you well enough and it's able to project who and what you're about to everyone else that is out there. And it's funny, I mentioned that I was in blockchain technology. There's this term called HODL, HODL, which stands for those of you that know anything about crypto and blockchain. That means to hold on to your crypto, don't sell them before the prices go up. But there's a term called HITL, HITL, and that stands for human in the loop. And you want to always have someone that's going to be able to step in. Like when I have AI create my post, I make sure that there is a stopping point where it comes to me in an email where I go over that post. I change any verbiage. I can change any images, make sure that it sounds like me. And then I can send that out feeling good that, you know what, you're hearing from Chuck himself. So the governance is very important.
Yeah, cut out for a second. It's more of like the amplification of, again, kind of helping you get these done quicker, right? Like it's not going to change the persona of who you are. There is some manual interactions, and you want there to be, but that's going to help with getting more of these out. You don't.
I'm sorry, you're breaking up, brother. Hello,
My
you
worst
still there?
nightmare is coming. My
I'm
worst
sorry,
nightmare is
man.
coming.
You're breaking up quite a
You hear
bit, man.
me? You hear me?
I didn't hear anything you said for the last 30 seconds.
I wasn't saying much. I had a black screen on. We're back though. We're back though, right?
Back.
Oh man, it's the rain or something. It's been good so far, but yeah, no, Chuck, what I was saying is I appreciate you mentioning that, because there always is a human aspect to this. Like it's not just going to completely take over operations. I mean, some of the processes that we've talked about in weeks past, and for those that are on today, if you haven't seen those, you can look at the recordings on my page, but those are really rules based. So once you have something, with your CPA or HVAC of handling like payroll and stuff like that, that's more of overseeing. Same idea here, but it's very rules based. Like the creative part of it is something that you definitely want to monitor. It needs to know your tone, your style, how you want to come across, just like you mentioned, Chuck. And that's the piece where, yeah, you still want to be involved, and you should be, but ultimately it's going to help with the speed of how these are going to come out, assist in creating ideas too. And that's kind of where we can kind of, you know, identify some areas outside of just the rules-based processes within your business to help amplify how you want to be viewed online. We're all online now. looking at people's websites, reviews. I know anywhere we look, my wife's looking at reviews. It's just want to create the idea. Can you hear me?
No, didn't hear anything for the last 30 seconds again.
How you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Yeah, you're breaking up on my end too. I don't know. Well, let's get on while we got it. You're frozen on my end. I don't know how I'm coming across.
Okay.
You good?
I'm good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good. But I didn't hear your last question yet.
To my point, I was just finishing up, and I saw a black screen, so I just decided to be quiet and going on. But so there's also I was kind of getting at the fear that employees might give a pushback. So what would you tell people how to handle kind of the cultural shift when introducing AI to some of these businesses that you're talking to?
Yeah, man. Communication is key, right? And when I mentioned HITL, HITL, human in the loop, you have to frame it. If you're a business owner, and this is something that you're starting to expose yourself to, your business to, you have to frame it as an extension of the employee, not a replacement. And just a precursor, for young people and folks that are thinking that AI is going to take all of your jobs. What's going to happen is that the folks that are going to take your job are folks that know how to use AI, interact with AI. And so if you're not already sort of delving into some of that, it's going to be tough for you to continue in the workplace and feel like you can compete. And so there is still this humanistic piece that has to be attached to the work that we're doing, And so I heard someone say, it's the Iron Man suit for the employee. This allows you to handle the boring stuff, or allows AI to handle the boring stuff so that you can focus on the creative stuff, high level work, the cause of your business, the mission of your nonprofit, stuff you actually enjoying in the work that you do. It frees up all of these things that can allow you to be more productive, for your employees to be more productive. And guess what? They're going to be happier and more excited about coming to work every day, because they're not going to be bogged down with repetitive emails, and they'll be able to focus on customers.
Yeah, no, I love that. So we talk about all these quick wins and low hanging fruit and why to get into AI. Why wouldn't a business owner just go and do this themselves over the weekend? What would your advice be there?
Well, there's a lot of that going on. And as many of you already know, I know you're inundated with inboxes and folks talking about AI and automation. There's a lot of things going on out there, but integration is hard. It's harder than it looks. And so if someone's telling you that they can come in and set you up, or that you think you can set yourself up, this is where you can get stuck. It's not the tool, it's getting everything to work together. And so you need to have some things in place that can bring your calendars, your messages, your customer info. You want all of that to be connected and streamlined, working in harmony with one another. Things can break if you're not doing that. Some of the things that we're seeing that are coming out of this is, with these initial setups that folks are sort of cutting corners on, is you'll see double bookings. You'll see lost leads. Messages are not going out or coming in. There'll be slow or broken follow-up. At Scale Through Automation, what we do and what I love about what we do is we're a full stack company. We're not just someone out here saying, hey, I can give you AI. We've got a whole team behind what we do across the globe that helps us, right? So what we do is we help you design it. We design it, we build it, we deploy it, and we support it 24/7. And so that's where you want to be if you're a business, because who wants to create something and feel like things are going well and then it falls apart? And who are you going to call? You can't call your cousin who set it up for you because he may not really know how to connect all of these dots. And so I say, like within anything, try to make sure that you're connecting with the right folks to be able to set you up for the best level of success. And like you mentioned, we have a business audit, a free business audit, and feel free to inbox me, connect with me anywhere that you're hearing here, and I can get you a link to be able to get that free business audit. And this free business audit will tell you exactly where AI and automation fits into your business. And I'll give you a free blueprint to kind of have a look at it, and you can take that anywhere you want. But this is sort of the thing that we should be doing as AI is becoming more prevalent in our society, is that we're going to have to walk alongside you, and you're going to have to allow us to walk alongside you or build that trust with folks that are going to be able to help you out.
Yeah, appreciate that, Chuck. It's always the input of your business to get the output. We're here to help. We've got the experience. We've got the team. So really appreciate you going through a lot of this stuff today. I know we had some connection issues. I don't know if that was on my end, but thank you for powering through. I hope it came through relatively clean, guys. Again, we've got the business audit on there. Totally free. Great opportunity just to at least, I always say, hey, if you want to partner with us, great. We've got people like Chuck that you're able to work with that have an unbelievable background and candidness to like how he works. So I really pranked up again. We'll get off. We're almost at the bottom of the hour. Just again, wanted to point to that audit, give you an opportunity to at least find the bottlenecks in maybe not how you're operating, but some of your employees too. That's been a big piece of what we've been able to offer, is really identify some of those other areas. So really helping in identifying some practical use cases here, Chuck. Looking forward to seeing you more in action throughout these next months or so. But thank you. You've really shined a light on some of these just practical quick wins that folks can aim to and then build from there. That's another big piece of it. Like start small, kind of see where it goes, and let AI learn from us and from the business, and man, get better and better and scale.
Yeah, you're so right. And I would just tell folks, figure out what your workflows are, what your systems are. The more that you know up front, the better off that we're going to be able to help you. So look forward to hearing some of you guys. Thanks for having me, though. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, hopefully these guys will get into your inbox soon. I mean, the best time to start was last year, so second best is now. We'll see what we can do. But next week is going to be our final episode, guys. So this series will be wrapping up, but we'll continue to go through kind of talking about conducting the full-time audit, scaling AI across your entire organization. So not only identifying these quick wins and low-hanging fruit, but really how to do that full audit, starting with the business audit, but other areas that will help identify as well. So thank you again, Chuck, and have a great rest of your day, man, and everybody else on here.
All right, folks. Hashtag AI for good.
There you go. AI for business, AI for good, man.
That's
Series
right.
hashtag right there.
That's
Appreciate
right.
you.